Now, the Food and Drugs Authority is cautioning the public against the use of rapid diagnostic test kits to test for coronavirus disease without any medical supervision and advice. In a statement, the FDA said there have been concerns and calls from sections of the public for the use of such kits for tests. However, these test kits are based on the detection of antibodies in blood or serum in people who are believed to have been infected with coronavirus. Now, joining us further to expatiate on these concerns is Joseph Bernie-Bennie, Head of Medical Device Department of the FDA. Now, first of all, thanks for joining us. How do these test kits work?
How do they work?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Yeah, the test kits are supposed to detect antibodies in blood. If somebody has the virus or somebody has been infected, the body reacts by producing these antibodies. And the kits are supposed to detect the antibodies in the blood.
So that then means that if you test positive, if we find the antibodies, it could mean that you previously were infected. Is that the case?
It's possible. It's also possible that you are infected with a certain strain of the same virus which might not be COVID.
Right. So what would you say is the percentage of accuracy in there that you actually have COVID?
So what the requirements are? For example, you are supposed to have 99% specificity and 99% sensitivity minimum. But what you are saying is that none of these test kits so far presented to the FDA have met these requirements, and none of them have been registered for use for diagnosis of coronavirus in Ghana. But the main issue actually is this. Government has not approved the use of RDTs for testing of coronavirus in Ghana. The only means by testing coronavirus in Ghana is the PCR method. And so if anybody wants to test using RDT, we are saying that one, it is against the testing protocol that the government has instituted. Two, FDA has not registered any of those test kits because none of them have been evaluated to be found to meet the required standards for them to be used for testing of coronavirus in Ghana.
Right. So is it the FDA's observation that these tests which have not been approved are already on the market?
Yes, there are some on the market. We have seen some being advertised on social media. Fortunately for us, we've seen some people have come forward that they've imported some that they want to donate, and those ones have been detained. Yes,
right.
So we are aware that some are in the country and others are trying to bring them in.
So what are the efforts the FDA is making to ensure that these products that have made it on the market are removed?
Yes, what we can do, one, is if we are able to identify who has brought them or who is using them, then we'll be able to get them off the market. So we are soliciting help from the general public. If you know anybody who is doing any test using RDT, please alert the FDA and then we'll follow it up. Again, we are working with the courier services. People are bringing in this issue through the courier services, and we are saying that if any courier service has any application from anybody to bring in this, we should be alerted, and then we'll take care of that, and then those ones will be taken off the market. Currently, for the sake of repeating myself, RDTs are not used for diagnosis for coronavirus anywhere in the world, not just in Ghana, anywhere in the world. It's not used for diagnosis for coronavirus. So we cannot be seen to be using that when even our own tests show that these products are not, through our evaluation, qualified to be registered as such.
Right. Thanks, Mr. Bernie-Bennie. But I just want to know, isn't it curious? We are currently at a time where borders are closed largely, and imports of only a reduced number of items are coming in. How are these tests, which are not approved, getting into the system and onto the market? How are they coming in?
It's a good question for all of us, because for us, we do not, as FDA, control any of the borders. We work with our officers at the borders. We know that there are strict controls at the borders, but you and I also know that some of the border points are not manned. Let me put it that way. So people are able to bring in these things somehow. So it's possible. It's possible. People are bringing them in, and we are aware they are bringing them.
Thanks for joining us. It's time for us to take business on Joy News Desk. Stay with us.